As you can see, the Porsche is gone. And I have quite a bit more room in the garage now. So pretty excited about that. It's actually been gone for a couple of weeks, but I've been doing some cleanup and organization. Still plenty of room to go before the garage is where I want it to be. But I thought I'd use this as an opportunity too to show you some of the other projects. This H1 is my 75 Kawasaki H1 that I bought back in 2014. There are some videos on my channel. They're just slideshows of photos I took, but pretty cool if you want to go back and take a look at that. This is the H2. Haven't really put any videos on it. It's a 74 H2 with a 75 H2 engine. It came with quite a few factory parts that are hard to find, like the seat. You can just barely see the chain oiler. I have a chain guard somewhere. And normally I don't like to go back to stock. But seeing as though I had all these rare parts, I decided to do a Denko Cobra replica, hence the paint job. There is a 1971 Rokon Trailbreaker. I am hoping to do some type of restoration on that at some point. Fun story, the first motorcycle I ever rode was actually the prototype for a Rokon Ranger that my uncle bought, found leaning up against the side of a barn, paid 200 bucks for it. I helped him get it running and he let me ride it, and I've been obsessed with motorcycles ever since. Lots of parts and a bunch of triple stuff and various other motorcycle parts. I still do have the Porsche engine. Some of the parts are down there. That is for sale. Tell your friends. And then here's the H1 we're working on. So I finally pulled the H2 off the lift, put it up there, and it's ready to get some work done. I have another 74 H2 frame with a 72 engine case and a couple other things. It was a drag bike, obviously, hence the extreme rake and no rear suspension. Don't really know what to do with that. I bought it before I got the other H2, and I was gonna try to figure out how to restore it or whatever, but yeah, not entirely sure what I'm gonna do with that. The H1, or sorry, I don't know why I said H1. The Porsche, when I sold it, the guy that bought it gave me some kind of old Honda Cub, so it's a rust bucket, and you probably won't see it in another video, but anyway, that's what some of those parts are. And then just doing some tool organization. I need to get that finished, cleaned up, but I'm really looking forward to getting back on track with this, this H1 here. You might have seen I've got some tires for it. Definitely going for a little bit of an enduro off-road scrambler look. So we'll see if those tires are going to work. And I also have a few other hidden surprises. If I can find them. Oh, here we go. Yes, I am very excited about this M unit. It's the Bluetooth version, so you don't need a key. And I'm hoping that will be installed in the next video. This is just some tire stuff, so I'm gonna mount the tires. I finally got my nuts and bolts. And so the H1 next video should be coming out soon. Keep an eye out for that. And then lastly, stay tuned to the end of the video. I would like your guys' opinion on potentially giving some stuff away. As you can see, I've got a lot of leftovers from other projects, and I'm not a big fan of dealing with selling stuff on Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace for smaller items, so I might try to start giving some stuff away. So stay tuned, and we'll see what the first thing is. Seat installation was cut short a little bit last video because I didn't have anything to really easily cut off the plastic from the Gixxer seat. So this is the portion I want to use, and I know it looks a little janky, but it's gonna work and be just fine. So I pulled the pad off of the seat, and I kind of rough outlined where I want it to go. So I'm going to VHB double-sided tape this in place, and then I'm also going to put some screws in it to really keep it secure, and then we will set it down, and I'll come in with a Sharpie, trace out this line, kind of find the center where we want our bolt to go, and hopefully that works and it secures the seat well. Before we apply the VHB, just go ahead and clean these up real good with some acetone so the VHB has a chance to stick while not messing up our outline for location. And this really isn't VHB. I have no idea what it is. It's just some scraps that came with something I bought once upon a time. But again, we're also going to be bolting this down. So I'll just trim off the excess on the edges, get it applied and centered, and then we'll drill some holes through it. Good enough. Okay. All right. See how that goes, and then probably put a hole right through the tape. I'm also debating on putting one here and then having an oversized washer kind of hold it down. I get it, it's janky, but it's gonna work, I swear. And we're all mounted. You can see there's some mismatched hardware just because that's what I have on hand, but I do need to get either some button head or hex head to replace, well, these aren't hex heads, but flatter profile so you don't, not that you're gonna feel it under the seat, but still wanna do that. So, nice and sturdy. And now we're gonna go up under here, trace that outline with a Sharpie, and then we'll drill and tap. Whoops, make sure we're centered. So I'll kind of eyeball that, and then I'll also measure. But yeah, pretty happy with that. Just make sure, actually it does look like it's favoring, there we go. Calling that pretty good. Let's mark it off and drill and mount our locating pin. Okay, that's ready to go, and I don't want this forward too much because I don't want it to, you know, try to bow out the seat when you put it in, or have to struggle to get it in there. I really wish, you know what, I'm going to center drill this to start, and if I really need some adjustment, then I'll make that an oval, slightly oval hole, and put a nut on the bottom. You know what, worst case scenario, I can oval it, weld a nut to the bottom, and then fill in any oval so that this would screw on. But I think we're going to start by just putting it right about there and see what that does for us. Just had a rough measurement, 8.5, so that should be 4 1/4, and boy, that's dead nuts. All right, moment of truth. Whatever, I'm calling that good. You could ride it like this. Beautiful. This might be a little taller than I want it to be. Can always cut that down. I don't know, that's a good 1/8, almost a 1/4 inch. But yeah, we'll leave it as is for the moment. Wanted to show on my other H1 how I have it. So again, you can see same bracket, same release mechanism, and then this is the factory cable, I'm sure of it. And then what I did was had to grab a flashlight so you could see it. But essentially, you just pull down on this lever, which if I remember correctly, I really wish I could get you a better view of it. But I'm pretty sure that is a Mercedes-Benz hood latch release. You just pull on it and it lets go. So I'm gonna get something similar to that for the other H1. I need to bend the tail light / plate bracket so the tail light is more upright, and I don't know, I couldn't figure out a better way to grab onto both the base and the tail light mount. So I have my sheet metal pliers sideways, and now I'm going to attempt to grab those with a pair of pliers and hopefully bend this evenly, which requires that to not move. And that is not working great because it wants to flex the poorly made sheet metal pliers apparently. Let's go a little at a time from the top and bottom, maybe that'll even out. It's not the worst. Let's see what that looks like on the bike. I mean, it's definitely tacoed. What do I do about that? It's cracking the powder coat too, so do I just go for it, heat it up, pound it out? I don't know. Let's see what this got us on the bike. Talk about your poorly made sheet metal pliers. Yeah. I'm gonna call that good enough. So I'm just gonna work on flattening. Oh, can you see? Yeah, I'm not gonna work, what was I saying? Just gonna work on flattening that out and call it good. Something I was afraid of happened as I was bending this way. This actually folded in a little bit. When I put the light back on, the plate bumped into the light before it would line up to these holes. So I'm going to attempt to pull on that with something other than my finger to try to get that out. I guess worst case I could pry. Actually, that might be the better way to do it. And if I mess up the finish, I'll just throw this in with the rest of the stuff that's going to be powder coated. All right, there you go. Everything's kind of loosely bolted back together. You can see everything clearances, and I'm about to sneeze. Everything's bolted back together loosely. No interference problems. And as you can see, I also got my collector's plates. I don't know if you're supposed to cover up the plate numbers. Most of my vehicles in my videos have not been covered up, but I don't know. It's an opportunity for me to shamelessly plug my channel. Anyway, I think again, looking at that angle, happy with that. So I'll pull the plate back off, get it centered up, drilled. I really need to get some assorted nuts and bolts so that things actually match, but there you go. I think we're getting close. Put some masking tape on so we can kind of play with location, and I'm kind of thinking like just right there. So I'll not entirely sure how I'm gonna do it. Actually, I got a better idea. Also got a red pin sitting right here, so I will mark the approximate location of the holes in red. Then I'll take some measurements and mark them in black, some other color, black. Okay. Now, how am I want to do this? How am I want to do this? How am I going to do this? It's a metric bike. Let's use metric. So that's approximately 4 centimeters up. That one's in between 4 and 4.5. Up better than down. Doesn't really matter, just pick one. So we will go, boy, that just about looks black when it's on blue, that red Sharpie. And Sharpie's probably not going to be fine enough, so let me grab a fine tip pen. All right, hopefully this will work. And we're gonna go for 4. Then we will line those up. Hopefully I'm not blocking your view entirely. All right, now we have our line. Now the question becomes, do we trust these bins enough to measure off of? This thing is kind of janky. You know, was handmade by some random dude on eBay. I mean, it is definitely better than I could have done, but whatever. So, hey, look at that. We're again at the 4. Ooh, that's what I need to know, is the distance between these two. And so I like to measure from the inside to the inside. Looks like about 30.5 plus 2 tick marks, which are millimeters. So that would be 37 millimeters spacing from center to center. So then we want to know what that is. Oh, I'm gonna have to do math. So what I say, 37 millimeters. And this from edge to edge, following my line, it's gonna be 11.5 centimeters, which would be 115 millimeters. Let's see, so that's gonna be, wow, I'm normally really good at math. and you'll have to take my word for it. So this is going to be, it's hard to do under pressure, leave me alone. That would be 85 minus 2 more, this would be 83. No, that ain't right. Oh my goodness, I'm cutting this part out right there. So it's gonna, yeah, it's a little shifted right of where I initially thought. So if I look at that as my crosshair and line this guy up, it's gonna end up right about yay, and I'm happy with that. So now we drill. All right, drilled, and as you can see, these are quite large. That is because I have decided to put a riv nut in it for a number of reasons, including I don't have many nuts, which I did get on order, but aren't here. So I think this is a better idea anyway of capturing the nut. And there you go. And number 2. Happy with that. And where did it go? What'd you do with it? Seriously? Was it not right there? It's way over by the nuts and bolts. These aren't even the same matching bolts because I'm running out of bolts too, so I ordered nuts and bolts on Amazon. Should be here tomorrow. Yeah. All right. Well, the tail light definitely needs to be bent up more. Kind of wish this was, I don't know. It's fine. It's fine. And there you go. All right, guys, so as I mentioned, thinking about giving some stuff away. This is the Banvi, whatever that is, car ignition start system. It is remote keyless entry with the passive keyless entry system. It's an alarm. It has door poppers. It has trunk popper. Well, it doesn't have the poppers, but it has the ability to remotely pop your doors, unlock your doors, pop your trunk, that type of thing. And again, this is passive, so when you walk up, your doors will unlock, and then you can just open your doors. I tried to install this on the Porsche, and it would start the engine just fine, but then when you hit stop, it wouldn't stop. I think it is most likely a incompatibility issue with the Porsche ignition system and the way this functions with killing the power to the ignition. However, I can't guarantee that. So this is being given away as non-functioning. It may function, but I don't want that that liability or having somebody think they're getting something guaranteed to work. This is not guaranteed to work, no warranty implied. So here's my thoughts. Leave me a comment on whether or not anybody is interested in me giving away this and or potentially other things. And what I'll probably like to do is you must be subscribed and leave me a comment on whatever video it is I'm giving it away. And then I'll use some kind of random generator to pick the individual of those that left the comments. I don't have very many subscribers at this point, so your chances are very high. So yeah, leave me a comment if I get enough comments about giving this away and interest in it. In the next video, I will make it happen. So that's going to be it for the moment. Not sure what else I'll give away, but like I said, I have a lot of extra car and motorcycle parts. Might be some fun stuff in there to help me clean out my garage and maybe send it to a better home. All right, I couldn't leave it without showing you guys. So this is kind of the boneyard. This is the 69 Kawasaki Roadrunner. There's the Trail Boss I still have, and there is the free Honda Cub that I got from selling the Porsche.